You mentioned, Minister, that this is the first time that this Congress is being hosted in Africa, particularly in South Africa where we are. But how will it benefit the rest of the continent?
The continent will benefit because, as I said, our governments from Africa and the African Union, they're very excited about this because it's in line with our Agenda 2063, which is the development agenda for Africa. They'll be demonstrating what they are doing because there's a lot of innovation in Africa, but also they'll be showcasing the possibility for investment, for global companies to invest in these African countries. So those are the key things. As I've said also, we'll be showcasing these capabilities of the African continent because if you're looking at, everyone agrees now, the next growth area after Asia is going to be Africa. So that the early takers then will really benefit, we'll be showcasing them. We're working very closely with the ICT ministers for Africa. They are very excited. Almost all of them have confirmed their attendance. They'll be buying stand and showcasing what they're doing in their own country, but also attracting investment. That's what is key to us.
Now, this being a multi-sector event, you mentioned that the banking sector will be there, government will be there, civil society will be there. I'm interested to know that people in deep rural areas where these great inventions come from, how much access will they have to this particular event? Will they have access, and how should they go about doing that if they want to be part of this big conference that South Africa is hosting?
Yes, there are two elements to it. Like I said, there are these legacy projects like Impende project where government is investing in Impende to start bringing high-tech communication technologies in those areas. So it's quite an important thing for us. Still in KZN, last year we were informed that people were losing cars and crime there, cars were being stolen, they couldn't be tracked. Now we've worked with our companies to put the internet networks there so that we can track the cars with trackers because trackers use communication. So those are some of the things, but the key element is to continue our program of free Wi-Fi, working on local municipalities so that people can have access to the modern technologies. But the other element, in Durban, for instance, in the Dubai Trade Port, we're going to be with the proceeds from this thing, we're going to be refurbishing that hub there so that small people from all over KwaZulu-Natal can go there and get support in their technology. Here in Tshwane, we'll be working with the Innovation Center to help small businesses to actually grow because they are very critical for job creation, which is a major challenge in our country, to create employment and grow the economy. So those are the things we're excited about, but we need to involve our people. We're very happy that some of the big sponsors have sponsored these small companies to go and participate there in this conference. As I've said, one of our small SMME got a global award. It may be another country this year, but to have these youngsters who currently have to take their gadgets and testing to America, to have an opportunity to test those things in their country. So it means we can protect their intellectual property. Instead of going for them to go to China, they can have a center here. Instead of people from Kenya running all over, they can come to South Africa and do testing and get support for their innovation development. So those are the things in partnership with our university and African universities. That's what is going to be key to make sure that our ordinary people, they are not left behind in these technologies. Of course, for the rural areas, the key element, because they are still at the foundation phase where we're still talking about networks, is to continue to extend. We've started extending these South Africa Connect networks through these 8 districts, and as we get more money, we'll expand to all the districts so that all our government offices are connected to high-speed internet. If we can connect government offices like schools and police stations, which are closer to people. It means then people can tap from there to their business. It'll be much cheaper for them than bringing them on their own, these expensive networks. It means entrepreneurs in those localities, they can also tap it. Just an example, in last year we launched, he was a deputy president, now he's the president of the country in OR Tambo. We're using a project for broadband, but we're using SMMEs to build that network. And they were able to charge people almost half the price of data than what you get now from the shops, but on a commercial basis. So they were still able to make profit, but bring the prices almost by half. So those are the things which we really want to encourage. We want to train the internet local ones, internet service providers, to provide these services, because they tend to produce those services at a lower cost and still make profits, but without charging us an arm and a leg. Of course, we are still dealing with this high price of data in Africa and South Africa. It is inhibiting. That's why, as African ministers, we've agreed that let's try and reduce some of these cross-border costs, like roaming costs, for instance. They are very high. If you can just roam like home in Africa, would bring the cost of data quite significant for our people. But also domestically, we are looking at mechanism to bring this cost of data affordable. To me, it dawned that it's not just about poor people. Even the companies are worried about the cost of data. When we're having a web meeting here, the CEO of Volkswagen said they want to produce autonomous cars. But if the cost of data is still high, they are not going to bring those production here. So to us, it is in our interest that this data comes down so that we can have new investment. We can have those cars produced here in South Africa and be able to export them in other countries. So it is a very important project, and that's why Cabinet last week, Cabinet Lekgotla said, yes, let the CASA do its work, let the competition do its work, but let's look at other extra measures we can do to bring the cost of data down in South Africa.